Love you guys, thank you. Love playing the record, absolutely our pleasure to do so. But so leading up to this event, obviously people were so excited to be here. And we asked people online, what would you say to the dudes from Shinedown, given the opportunity? And I just want to talk about some of the things that came up. Sarah from Canton said, their music saved me after losing my parents in 2017. Lori said, their music has helped me in so many hard times, especially when I didn't want to bother someone with my depression or problems. And this dude right here, Jason from Alliance, told me, Shinedown is my family's band. Their music encapsulates how I want my kids to live. As a father, I can think of no higher praise to give someone. So you guys, I mean, you obviously make a connection with people. And
good to meet you, man.
And what do you think it is that speaks to these people and speaks to so many others that you rock out with? And like, as artists, what does that mean to you?
I mean, we've always tried to write songs for other people, but truly we write songs for ourselves. And I think that, I was talking about this to Brent the other day, like, to me the greatest gift that you can have is if we write a song about something that we've gone through, and it connects with someone else and they can make it feel like it's theirs or it happened to them personally, there's really no better gift than that. I think that's why we don't really talk about a lot what our songs are about, because I got a lot of favorite songs that I grew up with and that I love a lot and that really helped me through hard times, and I don't want to know what those songs are about. They might be about a ham sandwich, you know what I mean? Like really, like I'm a big John Prine fan. John Prine wrote a lot of weird songs that mean a lot to me, but I don't want to be like, oh, I ran over this cactus one time, and that's what. So we don't really talk about what they're about, because to me, if we can write a song about something that we've been through or something that he's been through, and you guys can relate to it and pin it to a point in your life and make it feel like it was written only about you, I mean, that's why I play music and write songs. You know?
I will say this though, just to, echo what he's saying also. The four of us, you don't walk into a studio there's a live aspect of what we do, and then there's a studio aspect of what we do when we're writing a record. There is not one record or any piece of music that's ever been put out to the world that we didn't want out there. The fact of the matter is we're not in there looking at like, okay, we have 3 singles and we're good to go and we can just use the other, I hate the term filler, we don't do that. And the other thing is every time we go into the studio, we're trying to remember that when you're recording it, you have to record it like it's your last night on earth. You know what I mean? Because if you don't put all of that into it, then it's not worth it. So I think, for me personally, from a young age, I feel really lucky that I was able to all those thoughts that were going on in my mind, I was able to put them down on paper. When I was younger, I didn't realize that I was writing in kind of a song format, but I was. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes it goes back to, being a vessel for the music. A good friend of mine once told me that you don't pick the music picks you. And so as long as you're getting something from it and it's enriching your life because, you mean the world to us, you gotta understand something too, everybody that's in here. We played in front of 5 people before, but we played in front of 500,000 people also. So all of these moments in time, they're snapshots, like we're in the moment. We want you to know how much you mean to us because you allow us to be ourselves. So thank you.
No, obviously it resonates with these people and so many others. Zach, I think I heard you say earlier, 20 years ago, the debut, 20 years ago?
Yeah, 20 years ago in May, yeah.
Gosh, dude, that feels like a long time ago. But so you guys are deep in your career at this point. And let's talk about the process of creating new music, because let's be real, you guys have had huge, and I mean huge hits. So is it like intimidating to sit down with a notepad and say, yo, we've got to write another 45 or we've got to write another Second Chance? Or is this like a thought process that you guys have of, hey, we've made the magic before and let's do it again?
I think I'll be honest, after Sound of Madness, I think I was the only one who did feel that way. Like I was really stressed out about having to follow up Second Chance. And
Sound of Madness and Second Chance, those songs fucking rock.
That was an album that had 6 #1 songs on it. So when you go away for a minute, it's like when you come back, you want to make it. So I was there, but now I don't. I'm sitting and talking with him a lot. I mean, we're together all the time. So like on all the next ones, I wasn't, because I've learned that you're not trying to recreate that. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to recreate whatever's new and whatever. We always say that an album is a picture of who that artist was at the time that it came out. That's why I think we'll always be an album band, because I feel like that matters. I feel like a group of songs matters to when it was in that person's life, and you can kind of connect with that person. But I don't stress about it anymore. I think that we, like he said, we don't. There's tons of bands out there that go in and specifically to write a single, and they're like, we're gonna write a single, and then we got our 3 singles, and then let's just write some other songs and have some fun. Like we have fun in the studio, but the studio is war for us. Like we want it to hurt, and we want to dig in the dirt, and we want to work, and we want it to be hard, because we don't do that. We don't write a song and go, that's a single. We just want to write the best songs we can write. And we've been blessed enough by radio and by these people to have a lot of singles on records, so.
But he's 100% correct. But we have a name for it. We call it staring down the beast. And so what staring down the beast means is that's a blank computer screen when you're in Pro Tools, or that's a brand new journal that you just bought that's got 500 pages and they're blank, and you got to fill them up. That's staring down the beast. And the thing about that is, we've been asked before. I used to love getting the question, like during the Sound of Madness era, right before Amaryllis, our 4th record, came out. A lot of people asked us, like, how are you going to top the Sound of Madness? And we looked at each other and we said, we're not going to top it. That's not what it's about. Like, if you want to listen to the Sound of Madness, we recorded it. It's there. It's there. You can go and listen to it anytime you want. You know what I mean? But we have to go to another place, and we have to find another peak that we're after. We climb a lot of mountains, and when we get to the top of one of them, we take an initiative and, give each other a hug, high five, say good job, and then you go find a bigger mountain.
We're not the comfortable band. We don't get to a plateau and go, we're gonna sit here.
But I like the fact that they make sure that we're not comfortable.
No, that's why you guys have 21 #1 singles. Like, it's absolutely insane. Hold on, we got a question right here. What do you want to ask the dudes from Shinedown? Yell it out.
Well, one of my favorite shows I ever saw of you guys was an acoustic tour where you did actually sit down and talk about what you're
Anything and Everything tour.
Right, I love that. It was my favorite experience. I've seen you guys many times.
Thank you.
This is my daughter. This is her first time seeing you guys.
Hey, daughter.
Hello.
I was going to take her to the Deep Dive tour. You were going to do a Deep Dive tour.
Yeah.
All those, and it got canceled. Please redo that.
Well, listen, it's always in the back of our mind. Listen, I'll be honest. No one was more bummed about the Deep Dive tour than us. We really want to do it. Obviously, COVID had other plans. We weren't allowed to do it, but I'm gonna say never on that. I think
we'll do it.
I think
we'll do it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, 20 years of a catalog right there, honestly, and fans like that who want to see that stuff.
The fact that we put shows on sale where people knew we weren't gonna go out and play a bunch of singles, and all the shows sold out, it hit me really hard, because it's like, man, it's not just the radio songs. Like, these people connect with songs like For My Sake and Through the Ghost and all these other songs. So it will happen. Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, it'll happen in the next 2 years. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen right there. We got another question right back there. Yell it out for us.
I have a question for Zach.
Yes.
Are you going to put out another album with the Farewell?
No.
Not putting out another album with the Farewell right there. Not putting out another. Hey, we got a request or a question right here from a man. What do you got?
I got a question for Brent.
What's up, man?
So, dude, were you like bored when you started singing? Did you always have the grit?
Was I like, what now?
When you started singing, did you always have the grit and the power behind your voice, or was it always just clean?
He wants to know about Brent's voice and whether he always had kind of that gritty rock star power behind it.
Yeah, so honestly, so a couple of things happened. I knew I wanted to sing at like 10 years of age, but I started like writing before I started like singing. But when I was 15, my dad completely changed my life, because when I was 15, I was into like hardcore punk rock from like the UK, but I was into like grindcore before it was called grindcore, and thrash and all these different types of like really angst. I was totally into like Wendy O. Williams and all these different kind of out of control punk rockers. And so my dad, I remember coming into my room one day and he said, "Son, I have no idea why in the hell all of these people you listen to are so mad." But here, I want to give you this, and I'm dating myself, but he gave me a cassette. And so the cassette, I know. The cassette was this dude named Otis Redding. And so the interesting thing that happened was Otis Redding got me to Sam Cooke, which got me to Marvin Gaye, which got me to Al Green, and then that got me to Nina Simone, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, and opened up this different world. So a lot of my grit came from the Motown side and like the R&B side of things. But the other style is kind of a combination of all those great singers, but if I had to put it in like the top 3, like I never was trained or anything, but the people that taught me was Chris Cornell, Otis Redding. You know, being 14 years old and my parents would go out on a date like on Friday nights and like the garage had a really good like echo, so I would sing Appetite for Destruction front to back. Things like that.
Axl Rose, Chris Cornell, and Otis Redding. Yeah, dog. Pretty good singers. Pretty good singers.
From a more modern side of things, and I know me and Zach miss her very, very much. Another one, just because probably the most authentic time I've ever really in modern day heard a voice used as an instrument was Amy Winehouse.
You were also the reason I started singing at a really, really young age.
Hell yeah, man.
Beautiful.
I love it.
Beautiful right there. Once again, wanted to shout out the Auricle for having us all out here. Make some noise for the Auricle. This venue is absolutely fantastic. Sound is awesome. I'm going to go over here to my man in the hoodie with the tie-dye right here. What do you want to ask Brent and Zach from Shinedown?
A little bit of a nerdy question, but it's the 20th anniversary, obviously.
Yep.
And in the whisper, there's the lyric, put a man in the trial, but you can't make the guilty.
Yeah.
That reappears in Heroes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the original song was called Leave a Whisper, but that song was a demo, and so it didn't make the record, the debut. And then years later, I loved that line so much that I put it in Heroes, not knowing that the demos would ever come out. But there again, like, that's the beauty of music, you know?
The demos are the best.
Yeah, so, you know, it was just something where it's like we didn't care that one lyric was on another song and nobody knew about it until we, like, let them know there was a song beforehand, you know?
And 20 years deep, eventually you're gonna start repeating yourself.
We actually don't. We call him the lyric police. Like there was a point, kind of on between threat and attention was when it was worse. Where he was like, "No, we said the before. We can't say it." And then on this record, when we were writing, I can't. There's so many songs on this record. We were writing a song on this record, me, Brent, and Eric, and they said the line like you're staring down the barrel of 45, and I was like, wow. I was like, he's never gonna go for this. And then he did, and we kept it in there, and I was like, I thought that was like a neat homage to the past that we we revisited something.
Well, I mean, people have been with you for a long time, and that's exactly right. When
Clueless and Dramatic.
When you revisit, you know, that's gonna make the impact right
By the
there.
way, like on YouTube, with that song Clueless and Dramatic, that it has that homage to the 45 lyric, all the comments are like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
Beautiful
they
stuff
get it.
right there. Beautiful stuff right there. We got another question right here. What you got for the guys?
You guys remember doing a concert in Charleston, West Virginia last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
Charleston, West Virginia last year.
Charleston wasn't when the power went out, was it?
Right. So I wanted to thank you guys for coming out into the audience. And
Yeah, man. We were throwing down.
It was honestly one of the best shows we had played of the whole tour. So of course, a drunk driver hits a transformer and knocks the power out. I will say this though, we turned it into like a 10,000 person meet and greet where we just walked around meeting everyone we could. And then about an hour later, for the people who stayed, about 7,000 people stayed. We finished the show. The police usually, so most arenas that you're in or amphitheaters, whatever, are curfew at 11 o'clock. If you go past 11 o'clock, you get fined. Sometimes lots of money. It has happened to us a lot of times. And then we talked to the police commissioner. He was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna worry." So we got to play. We played till like midnight or something. It was fun.
Hey man, show must go on.
Hey, West Virginia, you got to make some
Power
happen
or
out there. All right, I got a question right back there. What do you want to ask Brent and Zach from Shinedown?
I just want to tell you, I'll follow you down with our wedding song.
Oh,
I Follow You Down as a wedding song? That's absolutely...
I'll follow you as a lot of that.
That's a big wedding song.
That's a lot of
Beautiful.
people's like wedding songs.
That's our Edwin McCain Albee.
There it is. We got more questions right here. What do you got for the guys?
I turned 59.
Happy birthday, Jeff!
Happy birthday, Jeff!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
First of all, I want to thank Mix 94 and the Music Forum.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mix 94, one of the music forum. Thank you. All right.
This is the best way to spend a birthday. I met so many new friends today.
That's awesome, man. That's
Beautiful. Happy birthday, Jeff.
I've seen you guys for one thing about 20 years ago. I think that's the first time I see you. And you're my favorite of what I call my newer bands.
Cool.
And I really just want to say thank you. And I have one question that is very, I don't know.
Controversial.
Oh, there we go, Jeff. Spicy.
You know, I would love if I could get my picture with you guys today.
See what we can do, birthday.
Yeah, we can get that figured
See
out.
what we can do.
I would love it.
We can figure that out.
Just because you share a birthday with my son.
There it is. There it
There
is.
you go.
Hey, and
The best part of going to a concert is meeting people and seeing bands that give a shit about them.
We appreciate you, man.
yeah, the magic happens when people get
Thank you.
together and live music is happening. And honestly, that's a testament to the connection that you guys make with the audience. Whether it's through music, whether it's through the fact that power went out in West Virginia, you went out there and met 10,000 people. It really is a testament to why they buy into what you're doing time and time and time again. So that connection, that means a lot to people. I got a question over here. What do you want to ask the dudes from Shinedown? Right there, yep.
What you got? I gotta get a little closer.
Speak up, speak up.
You gotta yell.
I don't have a question. I just want to say this without crying.
Okay.
You were the very first concert that I took my son to at 14. He's here with me now at 30.
That's so awesome. It's awesome.
We're living the magic right there.
Very much.
Thank you for the support.
Absolutely beautiful. So let's talk about a symptom of being human one more time, guys. Explain what it's like being rock stars, because you guys are genuinely true to the heart rock stars and still being vulnerable, because when it comes down to it, that's what that song is all about, and that's why it makes a connection with people. That's why all your songs do. So I know for a lot of people in bands, people, pro athletes, people who are movie stars, all seem like brands as opposed to people. But deep down inside, there's a person underneath of that. It's not just like, hey, I'm Brent from Shinedown. You're just Brent. And like, what is it like kind of living in both of those worlds of like, yo, I'm a rock star killing it up on stage, and I'm a real human that's going through things like everyone else.
So if I'm gonna be honest about it, I've never ever once looked at myself like a rock star. The thing about it is that, first of all, the four of us are all very unique individuals on our own, okay? But the interesting thing that happens is whatever the set time is when we're touring, whatever that time is, that's kind of like when a switch goes off for all four of us, and like you put the four of us together on a stage and there's something that happens, and when that is so powerful, we call it, it's like for us, we call it the dance. And like we have a whole thing that we do behind the scenes with our crew and everything, that all these men and women that make these shows, like he comes up with these insanely crazy ideas and they're amazing for the production and all of these things, but like he has a vision in his mind when he brings it to us. Somebody has to facilitate that. So if there was ever a rock star, it would be our crew, to be honest with you.
Shout out to the people that make it happen.
I have a brain that works overtime, so when I design a show, it is not for the faint of heart, and there's a lot going on. And if you've seen us in the last year and a half, there's shit moving and flying, and it looks like a giant transformer, and that's not an easy task. So these men and women get up at 5:30 in the morning, and they work until 2 o'clock in the morning, and they try to go to sleep, and they
4 o'clock in the morning.
and then they go to 5. Then they get up at 5:30 the next morning and do the same thing. So it's a lot, and those people. I always say, man, there's an old Henry Rollins quote that is talking to bands before they walk on stage, and it says, "The crew deserves your pay, and you deserve their pay." And I couldn't agree with anything more, truly.
And honestly, too,
But Charlie can't write a song. So.
Charlie can't write a song. But the thing about the song, and the thing about all the songs for that matter, listen, you got to understand something about us. we're a band that's been talking about mental health for the better part of 2 decades. Before it was something that necessarily media gravitated towards or anybody talked about. The good thing about that is that people are talking about it. And the thing is, you have to understand, it goes back to what I said earlier, when we played Symptom, you gotta remember that everybody's having a human moment every single day that they're alive. So what we want people to understand is that when you evolve as a person and you start to feel differently or you start to come up with different ways that you look at the world, there's nothing wrong with you, all right? And we've been ambassadors for the AFSP for over a decade, which is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And so when you talk about these types of subject matter and you dig into these things, it's a very, very difficult discussion that has to be said, because ultimately what we're trying to say in these songs is that as human beings, you need to be there for one another. And part of the music is, what we share with you, but take it with you and pay it forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a group of guys who have done so much for
Thank you all.
Put your hands together for Brent and Zach from Shinedown! Yo, the dudes are going backstage. They're going to hear you rocking out. Make sure you hang out with the bartenders from Auricle. They're absolutely fantastic. VIPs, if you can make your way over here.